What about Princess Beatrice and Eugenie? They've, of course, fled the UK and are reportedly barely holding it together, Josh.
Royal experts are warning Princess Beatrice of York that standing by her disgraced father could seriously damage her own reputation. Newly released photographs from the Jeffrey Epstein files have reignited controversy around Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, leaving his eldest daughter facing an impossible decision between family loyalty and her future within the royal institution. The images, released by the U.S. Department of Justice on December 20th, 2025, show Andrew stretched across the laps of 5 women at Sandringham House, Queen Elizabeth II's cherished private residence. Although the photograph was taken years ago, its recent release places the former Duke of York under renewed scrutiny, capturing him wearing what one commentator described as a predatory grin inside one of the most revered locations of the British monarchy. For Princess Beatrice of York, watching her father's public disgrace unfold in real time, these images are more than just another controversy. They pose a direct threat to everything she has worked hard to establish. Royal experts, including commentator Helena Chard, did not hold back when she told Fox News Digital that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie must proceed cautiously and maintain a certain distance from their parents in order to safeguard their credibility.
Yes, that's right. Both of them have fled the UK. Princess Beatrice, I think she's been spotted with a business economic initiative in Saudi Arabia.
The message could not be more direct: continue supporting her father and risk being pulled down alongside him. Yet Beatrice, now 37 and a mother of 2 with her husband Edoardo Mapelli-Mazzi, is not stepping away. Just 4 days after her father announced he would give up his titles on October 17, 2025, she was seen visiting him at Royal Lodge in Windsor. While her sister Princess Eugenie is said to have completely cut ties with her father, Beatrice remains loyal to the man who walked her down the aisle, taught her how to ride horses, and who, despite everything, is still her father. The stakes have never been higher. Princess Beatrice has spent years steadily rebuilding her public image after earlier periods when she was ridiculed for her fashion sense and written off as a socialite. She has since established herself as a serious advocate for dyslexia awareness, built a career in artificial intelligence and technology consulting, and carried herself with composure through years of family controversy. All of that hard-earned progress could collapse if she makes the wrong decision.
So, and actually, Princess Beatrice has been smiling for the pictures. Of course, both Beatrice and Eugenie will both actually carry on. They will still hold both their princess titles and their York title.
The latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein files delivers another crushing blow to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's already damaged reputation. Following his disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and his civil settlement with Virginia Giuffre in 2022. Many believed Andrew's downfall was already complete, but these photographs show there was still further to fall. The image of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor at Sandringham House is not merely humiliating, it represents a betrayal of everything the royal family stands for. Sandringham is not just another estate, it is where the royals gather for Christmas, where Queen Elizabeth II found comfort in her final years, and where generations of monarchs have met in private. The notion that Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell had access to such personal royal spaces, and that Andrew enabled it, cuts to the very core of the institution's credibility.
As well. So actually, they're very different from Prince Andrew and, of course, his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who is understood now. I originally predicted that she would stay with Prince Andrew. Now she's reportedly been telling sources close to her and friends that actually she's making alternative arrangements.
Royal commentator Richard Kay summed up the disturbing nature of the revelation when he wrote in the Daily Mail, "Could there be a more grotesque postscript to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's former royal life than that photograph of him sprawled across the laps of 5 young women with a wolfish grin on his face? For the royal family, it is a nightmare scenario that tarnishes an institution meant to stay above scandal." Princess Beatrice became patron of the Outward Bound Trust in November 2025, symbolically reclaiming a position her father had been forced to relinquish after his disgrace. As one insider observed, it was the daughter taking back what the father had lost, not for him, but to protect the family name. It was intended to mark a moment of redemption for the York family, yet it has now been eclipsed by renewed revelations about her father's past. The financial consequences add yet another layer to Princess Beatrice's dilemma, as the sisters, now 37 and 35, have seen their anticipated £30 million inheritance effectively disappear after their father was compelled to surrender Royal Lodge Windsor, the 30-room mansion that served as their childhood home.
I think when Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were living in that 30-room, that expansive Royal Lodge residence on the Grand Windsor estate, they had separate areas. There was enough space to keep their distance.
Andrew's 75-year lease, secured in 2003 for just £1 million with an annual rent of a single peppercorn if required, is now being cancelled. The property is reverting to the Crown estate, and with it disappears any financial stability the sisters may have once expected. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond also issued a warning to the sisters, saying that so far they have come through relatively unscathed, but in her view they would be wise to scale back their business dealings and limit visits to the money-soaked venues of the Middle East. Her message was unmistakable. They must be careful not to be marked by the same associations as their parents. The Christmas season of 2025 clearly highlighted the impossible position Princess Beatrice now finds herself in. While she and Princess Eugenie took part in the traditional Christmas Day walk at Sandringham House, their parents were noticeably absent. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson did not spend Christmas with the royal family, signaling a complete break from long-standing tradition. Reports suggested that Royal Lodge Windsor, usually decorated with wreaths and Christmas trees, appeared strikingly bare this year. Sources described Andrew as gloomy and withdrawn, likening him to the Grinch with little festive spirit on display. Even as her father became increasingly isolated, Princess Beatrice reportedly wrestled with the decision. Some reports claim she told friends she was deeply distressed by recent developments and chose to go skiing with friends rather than attend royal gatherings. The emotional strain of choosing between family loyalty and royal responsibility was clearly taking its toll. The growing divide between the sisters has become another source of pain for Princess Beatrice. While she is said to be desperately trying to maintain relationships with both her father and the wider royal family, sources claim Princess Eugenie has completely cut off their father, leading to repeated heated arguments between the sisters.
But Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, it must be so tough for them, because notwithstanding the fact that Prince Andrew still denies all allegations of wrongdoing, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie are completely innocent. They've had absolutely nothing to do with it. They have no responsibility.
Beatrice allegedly views Eugenie as heartless, while royal expert Afua Hagen characterizes Eugenie's decision as self-preservation driven by a desire to protect her family from guilt by association, and Prince William's reported opposition to his cousins remaining in the spotlight adds another complicating factor. With entertainment reporter Rob Shooter claiming the future king is strongly against Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie taking on prominent roles, although royal author Robert Jobson has said Prince William believes they should not be punished for their father's alleged wrongdoing, and King Charles III's handling of the situation has also drawn criticism for placing the sisters in an impossible position, particularly after royal commentators questioned his decision to parade the daughters of his disgraced brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor during the Christmas Day walk at the exact moment their father's humiliation had once again been thrust into the public eye, highlighting how the sisters have become pawns in a much larger game. The recent sighting of Princess Beatrice horseback riding with her father and her 4-year-old daughter, Sienna Mapelli Motzi, on January 24, 2026, just weeks before Andrew is due to vacate Royal Lodge Windsor, suggests she has ignored expert warnings, as she spent more than 45 minutes riding through Home Park on the Windsor Castle grounds, seemingly giving her father valuable time with his granddaughter before his relocation to a remote property on the Sandringham estate. While reports of a secret deal between King Charles III and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor add yet another twist, with claims that Andrew only agreed to leave Royal Lodge if his daughters were welcomed back into the royal fold, allegedly ensuring that while his former wife Sarah Ferguson would also lose her title, no action would be taken against their daughters, a situation that, if true, places Princess Beatrice in the extraordinary position of being both her father's lifeline to royal legitimacy and his potential undoing, a tragedy later captured by Vanity Fair royal correspondent Katie Nicholl.
Over their parents. They're just trying to get on with their lives, their own careers, while still maintaining some sort of connection with the royal family to appear on certain public events when required. This must be deeply embarrassing for them.
Their daughters are the most unfortunate victims, forced to endure everything in silence while maintaining dignity throughout the ordeal. For years, they have watched their father's reputation unravel while working to preserve their own standing and shield their children from the consequences. As Andrew Mountbatten Windsor approaches his final days at Royal Lodge Windsor ahead of the February move-out deadline, Princess Beatrice of York now faces the most defining test of her life. The warnings from experts grow louder with every new disclosure about her father's past, and while her sister Princess Eugenie has chosen self-preservation over family loyalty, the institution Beatrice was born into expects her to distance herself from the man who gave her life, yet she continues to choose love over logic and loyalty over self-interest. Whether this choice will ultimately protect her father or destroy them both remains the biggest unanswered question in the modern British monarchy. In a world where royal reputation is everything, Princess Beatrice is risking her own on the belief that family must come first, even as experts caution that it is a gamble she cannot afford to lose. So the question becomes this: can Princess Beatrice continue to walk that narrow line between personal loyalty and public consequence? Or will moments like the Windsor photographs force a decisive choice sooner rather than later? And what do you think? Is it fair to expect her to maintain that balance? Or has the scrutiny simply become too intense? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest royal developments, make sure you are subscribed.